So let's get started. The Kentucky Department of Education is warning that a sudden hold on $87 million of federal money will have impacts on each district in the Commonwealth. It's a pot of money approved earlier this year by Congress and signed by President Donald Trump. But the day before those funds were to be released to Kentucky, June 30th, the Department of Education said they are now under review. Last week, Commissioner Robbie Fletcher held a call with superintendents to lay out the impacts. Many districts may have to consider staffing reductions.
You know your budgets, you know what, and again, I am sure that every single dollar that you have is considered very important. But are there some things that you can either put on hold or some things that may be considered cutting, or where do you have other fundings within that? And again, that's a lot easier said than done and sitting in the seats of superintendents. These are not easy decisions.
Fletcher says that KDE will be looking at all options, including legal action from the Attorney General's office. Additionally, the department has also come under recent criticism after the state auditor's office found $250 million in SEEK funds had lapsed back into the general fund from 2020 to 2024. So Representative Gordon, I want to start with you here. With the context of both of those things, how will that affect budget conversations as we start looking ahead to 2026?
Well, I think that's a good way to frame it, because even when we craft our state budget, we always budget to our needs, not our wants. And just as Mr. Fletcher said in his opening segment there, I think that just has to be paramount. And we know we need every resource that is going towards students and teachers. And if there's ways to cut administrative costs, I think that needs to be evaluated and pursued.
Representative Brown, what's your read on this?
I think that certainly public education is critical and important for Kentucky as well as the United States of America. And I think that it is an investment, not a drain on our budgets, but it is an investment in the improvement of our society, and it helps our children.
Now, Kentucky is not alone in this. In total, about $6 billion in federal money is being held, across the board for several states. Is there any thoughts that you all have on these congressionally approved funds being held up? What questions would you all have as state lawmakers to the Trump administration over this?
I would think that a previous administration has already approved the dollars to be have been appropriated and subsequently spent. It would make sense that those dollars continue forward. And if there's any discussion, it's after what happens with these funds. These funds should not be held up.
Representative Gordon?
Again, I just think that we need to look and make sure that all dollars are going towards students and their outcomes. Just like during the audit, it revealed that there was $250 million that lapsed, and that was money that was already there that could have been used for students and teachers. And so we have to be very efficient and manage our resources wisely.
And, on managing our resources wisely, this is something we may get into as we kind of go throughout the show today. But, there are unanswered questions over federal support, not just for KDE, but we're also talking about storm recovery. Our medical community's raised issues. With these different compounding things, could that throw a wrench in the different approaches the General Assembly is taking right now, like that income tax reduction? We have a pretty large budget reserve trust fund. Can we maintain that with these additional needs on the state?
Well, we certainly can, and it's always a little bit of a give and take between a lot of these programs have grant funding, and it's a percentage where the state supplies so much and the federal matches, or vice versa. And so we are always retooling, refining, measuring, and trying to be the most efficient we can.
Representative Brown?
With the process that we have with government, there are always lapses and funds lapse, and then they're able to be carried over. So I think we keep that in mind in terms of carrying over funds and viably using those funds for the benefit of the citizens that we serve.
Now, on the audit that came out last week from the auditor's office, it was a very broad audit. It goes beyond just that $250 million that I mentioned, but it also looks into a lot of different performance questions. What questions do you all particularly have, particularly that you'd want to take to KDE based on some of these different findings that you've been able to see from the audit?
I haven't seen the audit, so I can't really reply or comment on the audit itself. But essentially, having been in finance and in business administration, primarily with audits are found, and you find difficulties and problems in the administration and the application of funds and expenditure of funds, and then you take corrective action. You take steps to deal with how those funds are being spent, and if there are any actions that need to be taken, you can take them administratively and improve the operation.
Do you have any questions for KDE?
Well, I think it's discerning that there are no outcome performance measurements. We can't just fix a problem by throwing money at a problem, and so especially giving our continually poor ranking in our educational outcomes as a state. We have tried to do everything that we can to get those resources to students and teachers. And then just in the recent Fayette County audit, you know, spending such great resources on ice cream and luxury travel, that's just not wise, it's not common sense. And and again, it's taxpayer dollars.
We got a little bit less than a minute left here, y'all. What are your particular thoughts or even comments you would give to some of these school districts, considering where we are right now? We got about a month until schools come back, and there seems to be a bit of uncertainty over what dollars will be there. What would you have to say to them to at least calm some of those concerns that the state's going to be looking after them?
Our education is paramount to everything that we do. Just like Representative Brown said, children are our greatest resources. We're not going to leave them without the resources they need to be successful. So one way or another, we will make sure that schools are successful.
Last word on this?
I think the thing that we have and we need to keep in mind is that we have school boards. School boards are in place to give oversight to what the actual school boards are doing. And I think that we have to have elect the best people to be on those boards to give oversight to what's being done in the various school boards around the country, or around the state, I'm sorry.